Hi, I welcome you back, and in this video lecture we are going to talk about creating shapes. Here we'll have so many shape tools and we're going to learn how to use each and every one of them one after the other. Okay, so let's go to another page. Let's go to page 3 right here. We can change it to landscape. Okay, and we can delete this our page numbering. Okay, so now let's start with the first shape we have right here, which is rectangle tool. Okay, so it's just creating a rectangle, which we have been doing right here before. Okay, so once you select this particular rectangular tool, it's going to give you options right up here. Okay, this is where you select where the object will be, that is the object position. You can change it right here. So this is where you change the size of the object. If the size you made here is not okay, you can change the size right here if you have a particular size in mind. So this is where you make rotation. You can just rotate this object in either way. You can just give the number of the angle you want the object to rotate to, or you can just come to the object and select and double click again, and you can use these things right here to make your rotation. Okay, so here is the mirror. You mirror horizontally and you mirror vertically. This is just changing the position of the object. That is, this side comes to this side and this side right here comes to this side. So that is what it means. So here is where we select the type of edge we want to give our rectangle. So right now this edge is selected but is not visible right here. So for you to see that, you have to come and select your shape tool right here, and then you can click on the node right here and drag down. So you see the edges is changing to a curve. Okay, you can just select this one and you see the edges changes again. The curve now went inside, and then you can click to this one and the edges changes to a polygon. So depending on how you want to transform the edge, this is where you select it. But before you do that, you have to make sure that your shape tool is selected. I told you shape tool can help you to do a lot of things. You're still going to do more with this shape tool. Okay, so right here, let's drop our shape tool. Right here is where you change the size of this place. You see everywhere here is almost the same thing. This edge, this edge, this edge, and this edge are all equal. When you look at this place, you see that the four of them are equal. So let's try changing one. Okay, so we'll see the difference. You see the edges keeps expanding. It's no longer equal with this one. This one keeps going down and it keeps expanding. Okay, it's expanding the four of them at the same time. Why? Because we'll have this lock button highlighted. Okay, so we can just unlock, and then we can just change any one of our choice without it affecting the other one. You see, only this edge is moving, every other edge is just the same thing. We'll still have the same size here, the same size here, the same size here, but different size right here. That is, you resize your radius right from this place depending on how you want it to be. This is where you give the hairline. You want it to be thick, you want it to be thicker. This is where you change the kind of line you want it to carry. Is it dotted line, straight line? We'll have so many kinds of lines here depending on the one you want. See right here, this is what we can get with this particular type of line. Okay, so let's take it back to solid. Okay, but just remember you can always come here and make changes to any line, any type of line you want to have. All right, so we've successfully created a rectangle, and this same way we can create an ellipse and polygon, but we still have a drop down right here. So let's go on and see what the drop down has. So this one is a 3-point rectangle, so it makes a rectangle from a point, you can just select the point you want from this first point to any last point. If you're okay that this is the size of the rectangle you want, you can just drop and drag up. You're not holding anything. Once you drop, first you have to click on where you want to get the rectangle. Let's redo it. Let's leave this one. So holding and dragging to where we want the rectangle to end, and then dragging up to any point of our choice. So when we're sure that we've gotten the size of the rectangle we want, we can just click to drop, and then that is how we'll make our 3-point rectangle. So you can create a rectangle either way, either using a rectangular tool, or you can use a 3-point rectangle. All of them gives you the same rectangle. The same way you resize this one, you can as well resize this one, because you have all the options right here for you. Okay, so let's go on and drop this and reduce this rectangle. Okay, and bring it right here so it doesn't occupy space for other shapes. We can just delete this one right here. Okay, so let's try the ellipse tool. Now we'll have just the same way we'll have a rectangular tool and 3-point rectangle. The same way we'll have ellipse and 3-point ellipse. So making ellipse is just creating a circle. Okay, we'll call it ellipse. Okay, so here we've just made a circle. Let's check the size of this circle. Here is where you get the size, and the size are not the same. The two sizes are not the same. It simply means that this is not a perfect circle, it's just an ellipse. Okay, so for you to make a perfect circle, you have to hold your control and then draw another circle. Okay, so at the end, let's select this circle. You see right here, we'll have the width and the height the same size, 2.373, 2.373. Okay, so right here is where we'll make our rotation, and you know, however you rotate an ellipse, however you rotate a circle, it's going to give you the same thing, except you have an ellipse which may give you the shape that is so visible. So whenever you make a rotation on this particular ellipse, you're going to get a visible, sorry, that is way too big. You're going to get a visible changes right here. But let's try rotating this particular circle, because that is our perfect circle, maybe to 30. Okay, there is no changes, everything remains the same. All right, so we still have other options right here for ellipse, where you make your rotation, where you mirror it. So let's try this mirror on this particular one, because I believe it's going to look better. So we can use a vertical. You see, it changes from the way it is to another way, the same way if we use horizontal. So this is what mirror does. It just gets what you have here to this place and takes what you have here to this place. Okay, so here is the type of circle we are creating. Do we want a ellipse, or do we want a pie, or do we want an arc? So we selected this one, that's why we were able to make perfect circle or good ellipse without any opening. So once we select an arc ellipse, you see, because this circle is selected, it's affected it. Okay, because we have this ellipse selected, it affected it. So we have actually made something different. So let me delete. So even if without this, any other circle we're drawing, with this one selected, is going to keep changing. Okay, any other circle we have, it's going to keep changing to pi. Okay, so we can even adjust this pi from here, how we want the pi to appear. Okay, we can make it bigger, we can make it smaller. Here is 270.0 and here is 4. So any one of your choice, you can just adjust from here. So this one is the arc, it makes an opening entirely. We've just created an arc, so let's try using this one. right here. So this is an arc and no longer a circle with an opening. So this is just like a line right here. So we've successfully made a line and no longer a circle, because if you try to give this circle a fill, it's not going to accept fill, but rather it's going to accept a hairline. So let's increase the hairline right here, and we can use our right click to give it a fill. Now the fill changes to blue, so it shows that we have an arc and no longer a circle. Only this ellipse here, which have every point closed, can accept a fill inside. So this is how you create your ellipse and you create your circles as well. So the same way, just the same way our 3-point rectangle worked, our ellipse is going to work that way. You just have to hold right here. Okay, let's make some shifts so we'll have a space for other ones. Okay, we can highlight all of this and reduce it. Okay, and move them to a side. Okay, I think it's okay where it is right now. Okay, so let's go on and try the 3-point ellipse, where you have to drag to any point depending on how big you want your ellipse to be, and you drop and you drag up. Remember, you don't have to hold anything while dragging up. You only have to left click to drag to the line, the length you want it to be, and then you drop and then you drag up without holding any key, not left, not right click. Okay, so this is another way we can make our ellipse without using the ellipse tool. Okay, we can just drop right here, and then I believe with this we're okay with making ellipse tool. And this one has the same option just like every other one right here. So whenever you make changes, it's going to affect the ellipse you have selected. Okay, so the same way we give this one our tick line, we can as well change the kind of line we want for our ellipse right from here. Either dotted, either any of this. You can just make the point big enough so you can get to see what you are doing very well. You can just choose this for them, so depending on what you really want. So these are places where you get a fancy lines for your work. So when we get into the details, when we get into the work in detail after these basics, you're going to see how we can use all these dotted lines to beautify our work. Okay, so I believe we understand perfectly how to create a rectangular tool and an ellipse, and how we can curve the edge of our rectangular tool, and then how we can give a dotted line to our ellipse. Okay, so in our next video lecture, we're going to talk about other shapes under this particular polygon. Okay, thank you very much, and I believe with this we're making a huge progress already, and trust me, if we keep going with me, you're going to get yourself a very good result at the end. Thank you, and see you in our next video lecture.